Your mindset is the foundation upon which everything else in your life is built. It determines how you interpret the world, how you respond to challenges, and how far you're willing to go in the face of adversity. Every morning, before you check your phone, before you engage with the world, you must check in with your own mind. What are you thinking? What are you expecting from the day? What kind of energy are you projecting into your work, your relationships, and your future? These questions may seem simple, but the answers shape your entire path. Most people let life happen to them. They wake up and instantly plug into the noise notifications, complaints, bad news, distractions. They hand over their mental real estate to outside forces. But if you want to lead, build, and create something meaningful, you can't afford to do that. You have to claim ownership of your mind first. Because the thoughts you dwell on become the emotions you feel, and those emotions fuel the actions you take. And in the end, it's your actions, not your wishes, that shape your reality. Training your mindset isn't a one-time thing. It's not something you fix on a weekend seminar or after reading one book. It's a daily discipline. Just like you train a muscle at the gym, you must train your mind to be strong, focused, and resilient. That means being intentional with what you read, who you listen to, and how you speak to yourself. Feed your mind with truth, with wisdom, with strength. Replace doubt with clarity. Replace fear with strategy. Replace excuses with execution. You also need to understand that your mindset isn't just about motivation. Motivation is a spark, but mindset is the engine. It's the voice that says, "I'll keep going," when the world says, "Stop." It's the internal compass that reminds you why you started when distractions try to pull you off course. It's what keeps you humble in success and hungry in failure, because the truth is, life will test you. It will push you. It will hand you moments that make you question your worth, your path, your purpose. And in those moments, it's not talent or luck that carries you forward, it's your mindset. Working on your mindset every day means setting your emotional tone before anyone else does. It means choosing to focus on growth instead of lack. It means asking empowering questions like, "What can I learn from this?" instead of disempowering ones like, "Why is this happening to me?" It means being the kind of person who sees setbacks as setups, who turns obstacles into opportunities, and who refuses to let temporary circumstances define permanent identity. Most importantly, it means committing to a higher version of yourself every single day. Not just when things are going well, not just when the timing feels perfect, but every day, even when you're tired, even when you're overwhelmed, even when no one's watching. Health is the foundation of all achievement. Without it, every goal becomes harder to reach and every step heavier to take. No matter how big your dreams are, if your body is tired, weak, or neglected, you'll struggle to chase them. Your energy, focus, drive, they all come from your physical well-being. Every day, your body is either being fueled or fatigued by your choices. The food you eat, the hours you sleep, the way you move, it all adds up. You don't get sick overnight, just like you don't get strong overnight. Health is a daily decision, not a one-time event. You don't have to be an athlete or follow extreme routines, but you do have to respect your body. You have to treat it like the tool that carries your mission. If you want to build something long-term, a business, a legacy, a life of impact, you need a body that can keep up. Start with the basics. Move every day. Walk, stretch, lift, run. Get the blood flowing. Shake off the stagnation. Remind your muscles that they matter. Physical activity doesn't just change your body, it clears your mind. It helps you think better, feel better, perform better. Then comes what you put into your body. Your food is not just fuel, it's information. Every bite tells your cells what to do. Eat foods that energize you, not slow you down. Avoid what you know drains you. It's not about perfection, it's about awareness. Drink more water, cut back the sugar. Add more color to your plate. Your body is always talking to you through energy levels, cravings, sleep patterns. Most people just aren't listening. Rest is also part of health, though often overlooked. Burning out isn't a badge of honor. Without proper sleep and recovery, your performance declines, your decisions worsen, and your ability to focus fades. The world may glorify hustle, but your body needs rest to repair, to recharge, to grow. Respect the rhythm, build a routine, give your system what it needs, not just what your ego wants. Stress, too, must be managed. Your mental state and physical state are not separate. Chronic stress weakens the immune system, disrupts sleep, triggers poor eating, and builds tension in the body. That's why you must develop practices to unwind and reset. Whether it's deep breathing, walking in nature, listening to calming music, or journaling, find your outlet. Build it into your daily life, not just when you're already falling apart. Most people wait for a health scare to start caring. They take it for granted until something breaks. But the wise don't wait. They maintain, they prevent, they prioritize, because they know health isn't something you chase after you lose it. It's something you protect while you have it. Every day you choose to take care of your body is a day you invest in your future productivity, presence, and peace. Your goals are the map that guide your daily actions. Without them, you're wandering. With them, you're building. Every morning, you need to reconnect with what you're working toward. Not once a year during resolutions, not once a month when you remember, but every single day. Goals provide focus, and focus is the only way to move from motion to progress. The clearer your vision, the more precise your steps, and clarity comes from repetition, from writing them down, from thinking about them so often they become part of who you are. A goal that isn't reviewed daily becomes a wish. A dream, something nice to think about, but not something you're truly pursuing. When you revisit your goals each day, you remind your brain what matters, you tell your subconscious where to aim. Life is noisy. There are distractions pulling you in every direction. Without a goal in front of you, it's easy to waste time, to lose direction, to settle for less. Reviewing your goals is like cleaning your windshield. It keeps your view clear so you don't crash into detours or fall asleep at the wheel. End goals must be specific. Vague goals create vague results. Don't just say you want to be successful. Define what success looks like. Don't just say you want to be healthy. Set targets you can measure, actions you can track. Your brain needs something concrete to lock onto. That's how you build momentum. It's not enough to want a better life. You must define what better looks like, feels like, lives like, then work backwards. What steps lead there? What habits support those steps? What actions move the needle? Once you have clarity, break your goals into daily behaviors. Don't just stare at the finish line. Focus on the next brick to lay. Every big goal is built through small efforts repeated with consistency. If you want to write a book, write every day. If you want to get in shape, train every day. If you want to build wealth, learn and act on it every day. The goal gives you the target. The daily behavior gives you the trajectory. One without the other is useless. And don't forget to emotionally connect to your goals. Don't just think about what you want. Think about why you want it. What pain will it solve? What joy will it bring? What kind of person will you become in the process? Goals are not just checkboxes. They are growth zones. They stretch you. They demand more from you. That's why most people give up, because the goal starts to require more effort than they expected. But that's also where the transformation happens. The person you become in pursuit of a worthy goal is more important than the goal itself. Keep your goals visible, on your wall, in your notebook, on your phone. Speak them out loud, visualize them, share them with people who support your vision. And most importantly, take action not once, not twice, but every single day, no matter how small the step may seem. Discipline is the invisible thread that ties effort to achievement. It's not about doing what you want when you feel like it. It's about doing what needs to be done regardless of how you feel. Discipline is the muscle behind success, and like any muscle, it's built through repetition, through daily use, through consistent choices that often go unnoticed but never go unrewarded. You don't wake up with discipline. You cultivate it one decision at a time. It starts when the alarm rings and you choose to get up instead of hitting snooze. It shows up when you say no to distractions and yes to priorities. It lives in the quiet moments where no one is watching but everything is being built. Most people wait for motivation to strike before taking action, but motivation is fleeting. Discipline is what shows up when motivation disappears. It's not glamorous, but it's powerful. It's what gets the writer to the desk, the athlete to the gym, the entrepreneur to the plan. It's what keeps the goal in motion long after the excitement has worn off. Anyone can start strong. Discipline ensures you finish. Daily discipline creates identity. Every time you follow through, even on a small commitment, you're telling yourself, I'm the kind of person who does what I say I will. That message rewires your self-image. Over time, you begin to see yourself differently. You stop looking for shortcuts. You stop negotiating with excuses. You begin to trust your own word, and that's one of the strongest forms of self-confidence a person can have. When you know that you can rely on yourself, your world expands. Discipline is also how you protect your future. Every time you delay gratification, you invest in something greater. You're not saying no. You're saying not yet, and that not yet is what builds momentum. That workout you didn't want to do, that reading you pushed through, that meeting you showed up for, those moments stack up. They compound. They build strength not just in your body, but in your mind. Every act of discipline is a deposit in your personal bank of resilience. You may not see the reward immediately, but it's coming. It's important to understand that discipline is a habit, not a personality trait. It's not about being naturally focused or perfectly organized. It's about creating systems that help you win, set boundaries, use reminders, eliminate temptations, build routines that support your goals. Structure beats willpower. When you design your environment to support your efforts, you reduce the friction between intention and execution. That's how discipline becomes sustainable. There will always be days when you feel tired, distracted, uninspired. That's normal. Discipline isn't about being robotic. It's about being committed. It's choosing to take action even when conditions aren't ideal. It's realizing that progress doesn't demand perfection, just consistency. Small steps matter, showing up matters, doing the right thing when no one is clapping matters. Because over time, those moments create a life that others call successful and you call fulfilled. Character is the core of who you are. It's not what you present when the spotlight is on, but how you act when no one's watching. It's the decisions you make when there's nothing to gain and everything to lose. Your character shapes your reputation, but more importantly, it shapes your legacy. You can impress people with talent, but you impact them with integrity. Every day presents you with dozens of choices, tiny, almost invisible moments where you either strengthen or weaken your character. Do you keep your promises when it's inconvenient? Do you speak the truth even when it's uncomfortable? Do you choose respect over ego, responsibility over blame, values over validation? You don't need to be perfect to build strong character. You just need to be honest with yourself, with others, with your intentions. Character begins with self-awareness. It means knowing your values and having the courage to live by them, even when the world tempts you to compromise. The moment you begin to justify cutting corners, making excuses, or betraying your own principles, you start to erode the foundation of who you are. And when the pressure comes, and it always comes, you'll either stand on that foundation or fall with everything else. Character is not developed in comfort, it's forged in adversity. When things don't go your way, your true nature is revealed. When people mistreat you, how you respond says more about you than it does about them. When you make mistakes, and you will, it's your willingness to admit them, own them, and grow from them that builds trust. People can forgive failure, but they struggle to forgive deception. That's why authenticity is so important. Be the same person behind closed doors that you are in public. Be consistent, not perfect. Be accountable, not arrogant. Every day, you're building or breaking your character through the little things. Telling the truth when a lie would be easier, apologizing when you're wrong instead of defending your pride, giving credit instead of stealing the spotlight, listening more than you speak, holding the line when everyone else lowers the standard. These are the quiet victories that no one sees but that define your life. They compound over time, creating a person others trust, respect, and follow, not because you demanded it, but because you earned it. Character is what creates alignment between your words and your actions. When you say something and then follow through, people notice, and more importantly, you notice. You begin to trust yourself. That trust creates confidence, not the shallow kind based on results, but the deep kind based on integrity. You start to walk through the world differently, not louder, but stronger. You don't need to prove anything because your life proves it for you. And when storms come, because they always do, your character becomes your anchor. It keeps you steady when everything else feels uncertain. It becomes your compass when decisions are hard and the road is unclear. Skills are the currency of value in any field. The world doesn't reward potential. It rewards performance, and performance is rooted in what you can do consistently well. Every single day is an opportunity to sharpen your edge, to practice, to study, to stretch beyond what you already know. The difference between someone who gets paid average and someone who earns above average is often just a matter of skill level. The more value you bring to the table, the more options you create for yourself. And skill is not something you're born with, it's something you build, brick by brick, through deliberate effort and focused time. In a world that's constantly evolving, what you knew yesterday may not be enough for tomorrow. That's why you can't afford to be complacent. The moment you stop learning, you start falling behind. Whether you're in business, sports, art, leadership, or any other pursuit, the top performers are not always the most talented. They're the most prepared. They're the ones who commit to mastery, who take pride in the process, who spend time working on the little things that most people overlook. They watch film, they rehearse their words, they review their failures, they refine their craft. Improving your skills doesn't always require hours of study. It requires consistency. Even 10 or 15 minutes a day, applied with focus and purpose, can create incredible improvement over time. Most people underestimate the power of small daily progress. They wait for the perfect time, the long weekend, the big opportunity to start. But skill is built in the mundane. It's built in the repetition. It's built in choosing to do one more rep, read one more page, write one more paragraph, even when no one is asking you to. There's also value in learning skills outside your core area. The more versatile you are, the more opportunities you unlock. Learn how to communicate clearly, how to negotiate, how to lead others, how to manage time, how to understand money. These are skills that compound across every area of life. They give you leverage, they make you indispensable. The more skills you bring to the table, the less dependent you are on anyone else to create success for you. Building skills also builds confidence. Not the kind of confidence that comes from hype or flattery, but the quiet confidence that comes from competence. When you know you've prepared, when you know you've practiced, you step into challenges with a different posture. You don't have to fake anything. You've earned the right to be there, and when setbacks come, as they always do, your skills become your safety net. They allow you to pivot, to adapt, to create new value in new ways. Growth in skill means growth in value. The market will always reward the problem solver, the innovator, the person who can execute under pressure. And those are the people who make skill development a daily habit, not just an occasional task. Relationships shape the quality of your life more than most people realize. The people you surround yourself with influence how you think, how you act, and how far you go. Every day, you're either nurturing connections that uplift you or allowing ones that drain you. It's not just about having people around, it's about having the right people. Supportive, honest growth. minded individuals who challenge you, encourage you, and remind you of who you are when you forget. No one succeeds in isolation. Behind every strong person is a strong support system, and that system doesn't build itself. It's built through intentional effort, daily communication, and consistent presence. Working on relationships starts with how you treat others. It's about listening more than you speak, being genuinely curious about people's lives, showing appreciation without waiting for a special occasion. A simple message, a thoughtful compliment, a small act of kindness can go a long way in strengthening bonds. The people in your life don't need grand gestures. They need sincerity, being dependable, being there when it matters, following through on your word. These are the things that make people feel valued and safe around you. And when people feel safe with you, they open up, they trust more, and they invest more in the relationship. Not all relationships are meant to stay, and that's another truth you must face. Some people are in your life for a season, and holding on to them longer than necessary can slow you down. You need to audit your circle regularly. Who are you spending your time with? Do they lift your energy or drain it? Do they believe in your vision or mock it? You become like the people you associate with most. Their attitudes, their habits, their expectations seep into your mindset over time. Surround yourself with people who make growth feel normal, who normalize ambition, who speak life into your dreams even when they don't fully understand them. Relationships also grow when you grow. As you improve yourself, you become a better friend, partner, mentor, teammate. You begin to communicate more clearly, handle conflict more maturely, and give love without keeping score. People are drawn to those who are grounded, who radiate confidence without arrogance, who make others feel seen and heard. Being that kind of person isn't about perfection. It's about awareness and effort. It's about being present even when life is busy. It's about apologizing when you mess up. It's about investing time and energy into connections, not just when you need something, but because they matter. Every relationship is either growing or dying. There's no neutral. If you want great people around you, be a great person to be around. Don't wait for others to reach out first. Don't expect others to do the work you're not willing to do. Healthy relationships require emotional deposits. They require communication, forgiveness, patience, and shared goals. And over time, those investments pay off, not just in moments of celebration, but in times of struggle when you need people the most. Time is the one resource you can never get back. Once a moment passes, it's gone. No amount of money, power, or influence can buy it back. That's why how you spend your time matters more than almost anything else in your life. Every day you're making trades, exchanging hours for habits, minutes for mindsets, and seconds for significance or distraction. Most people think they have time, but they don't realize how quickly it slips through their fingers. The clock never stops ticking, and that means you must become intentional about where your time goes, who gets it, and what it's being used to build. Guarding your time begins with awareness. Many people lose time not through major mistakes, but through small, unnoticed leaks. Mindless scrolling, unnecessary meetings, gossip, procrastination, overcommitting, indecision. All of these eat away at your most valuable asset. When you begin to treat your time with the same seriousness as money or health, you start making different decisions. You start asking yourself, is this worth an hour of my life? You start planning your day with purpose instead of just reacting to it. You start saying no without guilt because you understand that every yes is a no to something else. Working on your time daily means tracking it. It means knowing where your hours are going and what kind of return you're getting. Are you investing your time in things that move you forward, that grow your skill set, deepen your relationships, expand your vision? Or are you spending most of it on things that leave you tired, scattered, and no better off than before? You don't need to be a productivity expert to manage your time well. You just need to care enough to pay attention and make consistent improvements. One of the most powerful tools you have is a daily schedule. It doesn't have to be rigid or overwhelming, but it must be intentional. When you block time for what matters, you eliminate decision fatigue. You create rhythm, you reduce chaos. It becomes easier to build habits because you've created space for them. Time works best when it's structured, not restricted but guided. Without that structure, it's easy to confuse being busy with being productive, but motion isn't progress, noise isn't impact. True productivity is doing what matters most with consistency and focus. Another part of working on your time is learning how to protect your focus. In a distracted world, attention is a superpower. Every interruption costs more than you think. It breaks flow. It creates mental fatigue. It shortens your capacity for deep work. That's why you need boundaries. Boundaries with your phone, your environment, your relationships. Protecting your time means protecting your mental space, because without focus, even hours of effort can produce shallow results. The quality of your output is directly tied to the quality of your attention. You don't need more hours in a day. You need to use the ones you have with clarity, discipline, and intention. Time well used compounds. It turns into skills, achievements, memories, and momentum. Time wasted also compounds, turning into regret, anxiety, and missed opportunities. Money is a tool that, when managed properly, can provide freedom, security, and opportunity. It's not the most important thing in life, but it touches everything that is. How you handle your finances on a daily basis determines the level of stress or stability you experience, not only in the present but for years to come. Financial discipline isn't just for the wealthy. It's for anyone who wants to live on their own terms. You don't have to be rich to take control of your money, but you do have to be responsible, aware, and intentional. Every day you're either gaining control over your finances or giving it away through poor habits and short-term thinking. The first step in working on your finances is awareness. Know where your money is going. Most people don't have an income problem. They have a spending problem, or worse, a tracking problem. If you don't know how much you spend or where it goes, you're flying blind. That's how people end up in debt, living paycheck to paycheck, wondering where all their money went. Daily financial awareness helps you make better decisions, adjust quickly, and stay aligned with your long-term goals. Saving must become a non-negotiable habit, not something you do when there's money left over. If you wait until the end of the month to save, you never will. The habit of paying yourself first, even in small amounts, builds discipline and security. It creates options. Emergencies won't derail your progress because you planned for them. Opportunities won't pass you by because you're financially ready. Saving isn't just about hoarding money. It's about buying peace of mind and preparing for a better future. Spending also needs intention. Every dollar should have a purpose. Spending on things that add no value, no growth, no return might feel good in the moment, but over time it leads to regret. There's nothing wrong with enjoying your money, but enjoyment without limits turns into chaos. Budgeting isn't about restriction. It's about clarity. It tells you what you can afford, how long it will take to reach your goals, and what sacrifices are worth making. When you plan your spending, you avoid guilt, impulse, and waste. Investing is where your money begins to work for you. It's how you build wealth instead of just earning income. You don't need to be an expert to start. You need to be willing to learn, read about it, ask questions, start small, stay consistent. The earlier you begin, the more time your money has to grow. Compound interest is powerful, but it only works if you're disciplined enough to wait, to contribute regularly, and to avoid emotional decisions. Investing isn't about timing the market. It's about time in the market. Money management is not about how much you make, but how well you handle what you have. Even if your income is low, strong habits can lead to financial strength over time. Daily financial decisions, how you spend, save, invest, and earn, stack up to build the life you live tomorrow. Faith is the anchor that holds you steady when everything else feels uncertain. It's not about religion or rituals, but about a deep-rooted belief in something bigger than yourself. When life gets hard, and it always does, it's your faith that reminds you to keep going, to trust the process, and to hold on when nothing makes sense. Faith gives your journey meaning beyond the day-to-day grind. It allows you to rise above the noise, the fear, the chaos. It helps you endure pain with purpose and embrace success with humility. Without faith, everything becomes about control. With it, you learn to let go of what you can't change and focus on what you can. Working on your faith every day isn't about grand gestures. It's about quiet moments of reflection, moments when you pause to remember why you're doing what you're doing. It's about gratitude, thanking life for what you have instead of constantly stressing about what you don't. It's about stillness in a world that never stops moving. Whether it's through prayer, meditation, reading, or just being silent with your thoughts, you need time to reconnect with something deeper than the to-do list. When you connect with that higher source, whatever you call it, you find strength that doesn't come from effort, but from surrender. Faith also builds resilience. It gives you the ability to keep walking through the storm without knowing when the sun will shine again. It doesn't promise that everything will be easy, but it does promise that nothing you go through is wasted. There's a lesson in every setback, a reason behind every delay. Faith teaches patience in a world that rushes everything. It teaches trust in a world that doubts everything, and it teaches peace in a world that thrives on anxiety. With faith, you learn to walk forward even when the path ahead isn't clear, because you believe there is something on the other side worth reaching. You also need faith in yourself, not arrogance, but belief. You must believe that you're capable, that you're worthy, that your life has meaning, because if you don't believe it, no one else will. Faith in yourself is built by honoring your word, by doing hard things, by growing through adversity. It's built when you face challenges and come out the other side, even if you're bruised but still standing. That kind of faith doesn't come from comfort. It comes from experience, and once you have it, it becomes unshakable. Faith helps you treat others better too. When you operate from a place of belief instead of fear, you lead with kindness instead of control. You forgive easier, you judge less, you listen more. Faith gives you perspective. It reminds you that everyone is fighting a battle, everyone is carrying something heavy, and sometimes the most powerful thing you can offer is understanding. The stronger your faith becomes, the less you need to prove, defend, or control. You begin to live with intention, not reaction. You begin to trust that the right doors will open when the time is right, and that what's meant for you will never miss you. Learning is not something that ends with a diploma or a graduation ceremony. It's a lifelong habit that keeps you growing relevant and mentally sharp. The world is changing faster than ever, and those who refuse to learn get left behind. Every day presents an opportunity to get a little better, to understand something new, to challenge your thinking and expand your awareness. You don't have to spend hours in a classroom or enroll in expensive programs. Learning can happen in small ways. A podcast on your drive to work, a book before bed, a conversation with someone smarter than you, or even reflection on your own mistakes. The key is to stay curious, to keep asking questions, and to remain open to improvement. The most successful people in any field are relentless learners. They don't settle with what they already know. They push to understand more, not because they're lacking, but because they're growing. Learning feeds the mind like exercise feeds the body. It keeps your mental muscles strong, flexible, and ready for challenges. When you stop learning, you stop evolving. You begin to repeat patterns, rely on outdated thinking, and limit your potential. But when you make learning a daily discipline, you stay sharp, creative, and adaptive, ready for whatever life throws your way. One of the most valuable things you can learn is how to think. Not what to think, but how to think critically, independently, and strategically. The ability to evaluate ideas, question assumptions, and solve problems. is what separates people who simply work hard from those who make breakthroughs. Reading great books, studying history, analyzing different viewpoints. These things help you become a deeper thinker and a wiser decision maker. And in a noisy world full of shallow opinions, deep thinking becomes a superpower. Learning also builds humility. The more you know, the more you realize how much you don't know. That awareness keeps you grounded. It makes you a better listener, a better leader, and a more empathetic person. It helps you relate to others who are on different paths and see the world through different lenses. When you stop trying to be the smartest person in the room and start trying to be the most curious, you unlock conversations, insights, and opportunities that would otherwise pass you by. Apply what you learn. Information without implementation is just entertainment. Take the lessons from books, mentors, experiences, and use them in real life. Try new things, make mistakes, adjust and improve. That's how you turn knowledge into wisdom and ideas into action. Don't wait until you're perfect to start. Start with what you know and let learning guide your next step. Create a habit of reflection. Ask yourself what worked, what didn't, and why. Those questions lead to deeper understanding and faster growth. Make learning part of your identity. Be the person who's always improving, always adapting, always reaching for more understanding. Not to impress others, but to become the kind of person who doesn't settle. Because in the end, life rewards the learner, not the one who once knew, but the one who keeps knowing more each day. Responsibility is one of the most powerful forces you can embrace if you want to change your life. It's not always easy to accept, but it's necessary. The moment you take full ownership of your results, your choices, and your outcomes is the moment you take back your power. Blaming the economy, your upbringing, your boss, or anyone else keeps you stuck. As long as you place responsibility outside yourself, you're waiting for someone else to fix your life. But when you say, "This is on me," you begin to move forward. You shift from victim to creator, from passive to active, from helpless to empowered. Every single day offers you the opportunity to take more control through personal responsibility. Owning your results doesn't mean you control everything. Life throws curveballs, illness, tragedy, unexpected setbacks. But how you respond to those moments is within your control. That's where real responsibility lies. It's not about blaming yourself for things outside your hands, but about owning how you show up. It's easy to point fingers, to justify, to make excuses, but those habits build weakness. Strength is built when you look in the mirror and say, "What could I have done differently?" It's about asking better questions, ones that focus on growth, not guilt. Responsibility means showing up even when it's uncomfortable. Doing the work when no one's watching. Following through on your word, especially when it's inconvenient. Taking care of your body, your finances, your mindset, and your relationships instead of expecting someone else to carry the burden. It's easy to talk about dreams, but responsibility demands action. If you say you want something, your daily behavior should reflect that. If it doesn't, then it's not really a priority, it's just a wish. And responsibility forces you to confront that. When you take responsibility, you also take control of your time. No more saying, "I didn't have time." Instead, you say, "I didn't make time." That small shift changes everything. It moves you from excuse to execution. Your calendar reflects your values. Your habits reveal your character, and your results tell the truth about what you've been consistently responsible for. The great thing is that it's never too late to start. You don't have to have a perfect past, you just need to make a better choice today. Responsibility also changes how you treat others. When you own your part in relationships, you stop blaming, criticizing, and deflecting. You start leading with accountability, empathy, and maturity. You become the kind of person people can count on. Someone who does what they say, who finishes what they start, who admits when they're wrong and works to make it right. That's real power, not control over others, but control over yourself. People respect those who take ownership. They trust them, follow them, and rely on them. Responsibility builds credibility, and credibility opens doors. The more responsibility you accept, the more capable you become. Life doesn't get easier, you get stronger. With each act of responsibility, you build confidence, discipline, and resilience. You stop waiting for luck and start creating your future. Because when you take full responsibility for your life, you realize you're not just living by chance, you're living by choice. Gratitude is one of the most powerful attitudes you can cultivate, yet it's often the most overlooked. In a world that constantly pushes you to want more, achieve more, and compare more, gratitude brings you back to what really matters. It shifts your focus from what's missing to what's already present. It doesn't mean you stop striving or that you settle for less. It simply means you recognize and appreciate what you already have on the way to more. Gratitude grounds you. It slows the pace of constant wanting and helps you see how much good already surrounds you. Your health, your breath, your mind, your opportunities, even your challenges, because every one of them is shaping who you are becoming. Practicing gratitude daily isn't just a feel. Good activity, it rewires the brain. Studies show that grateful people are happier, healthier, and more resilient. When you take a moment to reflect on what you're thankful for, your mindset shifts. You stop spiraling in what's wrong and begin to notice what's right. Gratitude fuels perspective. It reminds you that even on your worst days, there are still things going right. Maybe it's a roof over your head, a conversation with someone who cares, or a lesson learned through difficulty. These small recognitions can add up and reshape your entire experience. Gratitude also changes how you interact with others. When you're grateful, you become less entitled and more humble. You stop expecting and start appreciating. You begin to notice the efforts others make, and you respond with kindness, not criticism. That energy spreads. It improves relationships, deepens connections, and builds trust. When you lead with gratitude, you inspire those around you to do the same. You create an environment where people feel seen, valued, and encouraged, and that leads to more meaningful cooperation and stronger communities. Even during hard times, gratitude has a place. It doesn't ignore pain or pretend everything is fine. It simply means you choose to find the light even if it's faint. You choose to see the lesson in the loss, the strength in the struggle, the clarity in the confusion. Gratitude builds emotional strength. It helps you face trials with a sense of purpose instead of a sense of defeat. And when you look back on those moments, you often realize they were gifts in disguise, chapters that forced you to grow, shift, or awaken. Make it a daily habit to practice gratitude. Write it down, speak it out loud, reflect on it in silence. Whether it's 3 things every morning or 1 thing before bed, this simple act compounds. Over time, you become someone who sees possibilities instead of problems. Someone who responds with calm instead of chaos. Someone who isn't always chasing, but is at peace with where they are while working toward where they're going. Gratitude also fuels abundance. When you're thankful for what you have, you attract more of what you appreciate. You operate from fullness, not scarcity. You begin to see that life doesn't owe you anything. Everything is a gift, and your job is to recognize it and honor it by how you live.